Hi everyone, I'm Lisa from learnwithconfidence.com, and today we are talking times tables, and specifically why knowing your times tables off by heart is such an important skill for your child to have for maths. Before we get going, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can be sure not to miss any of our videos, and remember to like this video and leave a comment so that other people can find if this is information that they need as well. So let's get to it. Times tables. Can I share a story with you first? When we were growing up, my sister and I, our parents were awesome. They really helped us so much with our schoolwork. So they were there to help us with, projects, studying. They tested us when we had studied our work. They really were invested, and I'm so grateful for that. But I have one vivid memory amongst all the others that were so important for me. I remember in grade 4, so I was like 10 years old, sitting on the bed across from my mom, and she was testing me with my times tables. So we sat there, literally, they were all like printed out in a flip file, and we literally were reciting them over and over and over again. She would test me, she would ask me the question, I'd give her the answer, she'd say if I was right or wrong, and we'd carry on. And it felt like for hours we would just sit there and learn those times tables. And at the time, I probably was not enjoying that so much, and she probably found it like to be incredibly tedious and painful. But she invested that time, and I knew my times tables. I knew them off by heart, and I know them now still today. And I'm so grateful because she put that time in. And as a mom, you sitting here watching this video, you're investing even a small amount of time into your child's education, and that is going to make all the difference. So thank you for doing that. Thank you for spending the time here for your child's sake to invest that time in them. Your investment will not go unnoticed, and you will get a profit from it at the end of the day. So let's have a look at why times tables are so important. And the most important reason is because so many other topics in maths rest on your child's knowledge of their times tables. So if you check out the blog post, you can see a whole list of examples of where, I'm just going to talk about a couple today, that times tables forms a building block that other things are built on top of. So you're going to find times tables in the basic operations. That's your plus, times, minus, and divide. So these are sums, your word problem sums that your child is going to do. They're going to need to know how to use their times tables. When I say times tables, remember I'm talking like 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 2 is 6, etc. Okay, so they're going to need to know those to be able to do those sums. Okay. Another example is in fractions. If your child struggles with fractions, there may very well be the problem that they have a learning gap in their times tables. That if they don't know their times tables so well, they're going to struggle with fractions, because so much of fractions relies on your ability to multiply and divide quickly between numbers. Another example, which you'll find in grade 7 in South Africa at least and higher, are ratios and percentages, helping children to work those out using multiplication and division. That's all got to do with times tables. Okay, so those are just a few examples that you'll see that times tables form the foundation for those skills. All right, and let's just talk about this idea of learning them off by heart. It's a really old-fashioned idea, I think. Like, we don't do rote learning anymore like they used to back in the day. But as a maths teacher, those children who know those times tables off by heart have so much more advantage than if they didn't. And here is why. Here are the 3 reasons why learning your times tables off by heart is super important. Okay, first reason, which we've kind of covered already, is that this is a foundational concept. Okay, so many other topics rest on this. And if they can get their times tables right, they're going to find that the rest of the concepts that they have to learn are actually a lot easier, that they're not trying to struggle through understanding the concept of times tables as well as fractions, as well as measurement, as well as patterns. Okay, those concepts will come easier if they know their times tables off by heart. Okay, that's reason number 1. Reason number 2 is that it can improve their speed. So if you find your child is struggling to finish their homework, struggling to finish their tests, their work in class, it is probable, not always, but sometimes, that they are struggling with things like times tables, where it is taking valuable time and mental energy that they're pouring those things into trying to remember and learn their times tables off by heart. So I shared a story the other day of a learner that I tutored once. She was in grade 9, and she literally, when I was tutoring her, they called me up on like the Friday. She had the exam on the Monday, and they needed a miracle. And spoiler alert, unfortunately, I don't think they got the miracle, but she had so many learning gaps and one of them was times tables. So literally she would get into her test and she would flip over the page to the blank paper at the back, and she would write out every single times table from the 2 times tables to the 12 times tables. She would write it out. That was her strategy. And it's not a bad strategy. If she had known her times tables, that would have been a better strategy. But she struggled through that process, wasting so much time doing that thing, so that she could look back at it and have a reference in her exam and her test. And I think there's a much better way to do that, and that is to learn those times tables off by heart, so you don't have to have your child sit there spending so much time and energy. But this is going to improve their speed. If they know those off by heart, then answering questions goes a lot faster, and they're not trying to remember what 3 times 6 is and work out the sum itself. All right, the third reason that I will give you for learning your times tables off by heart is accuracy. And this comes down to actually knowing your times tables really well. So when it comes to that, if you know what 5 times 6 is, then when you are given a sum that incorporates that little mini sum, then it's going to help your child, if they know what 5 times 6 is, that it's 30, that when they solve the entire sum is more likely to be correct. So in this example, let's take an example of like 34 times 56, okay? You're going to need to multiply all those digits together, and then there's a strategy involved in finding the final answer. If your child knows what each of those digits, the multiplication tables of those digits is, like 4 times 6 is 24, then they will not get that part of the sum wrong. If they know the technique as well, then they're more likely to get the sum correct. So knowing your times tables off by heart is going to help your child be more accurate. Okay, so those 3 things again. Firstly, it's a foundational concept. Secondly, it's going to increase their speed because they're not distracted by all the other things that they need to do, as well as learning or knowing their times tables. And thirdly, that it's going to improve their accuracy in the actual answers to their sums. And when all of those things come together, then your child is going to start to experience more success in maths. Okay, so this is why I believe that this is one of the most important skills that your child needs. I have 3 more points that I want to give you that I think will help you to make this happen more easily in your home and in your family, okay? These are some general pointers when you're trying to teach your child how to learn their times tables. Firstly, make it fun. A child will do almost anything when it's fun, okay? And secondly, be positive. If you enter this arena of trying to teach them times tables and you're all like, oh, I have to do this again, okay? That's the attitude they're going to have too. So if you're positive about it, don't be fake, but be positive, okay? They have to do it. Might as well have a positive attitude about it. That is going to make all the difference. And lastly, practice every day. Okay, so I have a resource that I can help you with to get you started for those first 5 days, which I'm going to tell you about in a minute. But practicing every day is like having a routine, is like developing that automatic thinking that you need when you're learning times tables, okay? Eventually, those times tables are going to just come so naturally that your child is not going to even have to worry about them in a test. All right, so let me show you these 2 resources that is going to help your child improve and learn their times tables. Okay, this is the first one, the Time for Tables Challenge. Okay, it's a 5-day challenge where your child for 5 days is going to complete a worksheet or 2 and have some different activities that they get to practice their times tables and hone their skills so that they can improve their speed and their accuracy. All right, so each day they're going to complete something that looks like that. They're going to have some drills to just learn those times tables off by heart, Second thing they're going to do is a word problem, because so many children need to practice on that. And lastly, they're going to do like a fun activity, a color by number, or a crack the code, or solve the riddle, some fun and inspiring things that they can do to be able to practice their times tables and have fun doing. So here's like the first day, which is a color by number, okay? So something inspiring they can stick next to their desk when they make it look really cool, okay? Another example I give you is this one, which is crack the code. So they're going to use their times tables to create the key and then crack the code that's above there. So really fun things to do, and I hope that your child will find that useful. And that's going to kickstart their journey towards accuracy and improving their speed. The second thing I want to do is show you this homework planner, which is part of a bigger toolkit called the Get Organized Toolkit. And in that toolkit is this planner, which you can print out and photocopy for every day, or print out multiple copies, okay, for every week. And you can see how it looks when you go onto the link that I'll leave below. But basically, you're going to put your deadlines at the top, the daily homework that they have, just jot it down. They probably have a homework diary, but this is going to be up in their at their desk, in their bedroom, where they can see it immediately what they need to do for the week. And then right at the bottom, this is what I really want to focus on. Right at the bottom over here is a section for times tables. And so each day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, they have some times tables to practice, and they can practice that in any way. They can use this resource I've just shown you, or they can do it, using one of the other strategies I'm going to talk about in the next video. And they can check off if they've done some practicing of their times tables, because like I said, practicing every day is key to knowing these things automatically. Okay, so the best part of that is that both of those resources are completely free for you. I will leave the links in the description below, and you're welcome to download them and copy them for your child and use them to improve their times tables. I hope this has been useful. If it has, remember to like this video and leave a comment. It helps other people to find the resources they need as well. And if you would like to subscribe so that you never miss a beat, then you are welcome to do that too. I will see you in the next video. Thank you for watching, and keep being the awesome mom that you are.